as we're talking to other cities and states about how they're building out their policies, I put it under four categories in terms of like building the right ecosystem for the policy, because the policy must exist with infrastructure. I think the first bucket, which has the most to do with policy, is clear timelines for notice and acquisition. And I think DC having the longer timeline obviously is the longer the better, right? The more time, the better. To know how much time tenants have to organize, to make an offer, to get funding, all of that. I think the second part of the ecosystem that's very important is technical assistance across the spectrum. Not only are we talking about public education and awareness so that tenants know what their rights are, but we also need legal support so that they can navigate the real estate transaction, and then funding for tenant organizing so that they can actually have the capacity to organize to buy their building or negotiate. The third piece is financing. So as folks have talked about, there's pre-development financing, acquisition, rehab or construction, and then the long-term permanent financing. And all of that needs to be considered as you're designing a policy, and more importantly, a program for implementation beyond that. And then the last piece that I think we're so concerned with saving the property in the first place that we often forget, we need long-term support for building management and sustainability. I think UHAB in New York City is a great organization to look at in terms of it's a cooperative housing organization that supports tenant co-ops in owning, managing their building, whether that means, figuring out property management duties or calculating shared equity or, how do we finance capital improvements? Those are all big decisions that people should receive guidance on. And that's a big consideration for building out a policy and program.